So we've got this default Create React app template set up. So you wouldn't want to go create all this stuff by yourself. This is building the structure for us and getting everything set up so that we can just get in and start coding. And that's what that line, so we did the npx create react app, whatever the name of the folder was, template TypeScript was going and building in this default app for us to use. Now there's just a couple of tools or extensions that are commonly used in pretty much everywhere I've seen in doing React to help us out. And those are, we talked about them earlier, the ESLint and the Prettier. And so we want to get those installed. Now just to set this up, I'm going to go in and create a variable here. So const blah equals hi. Okay, so there's a little line of code. Now if I save this, it's not going to give me any sort of an error, but if I hover over it, it's going to tell me blah is declared, but its value is never read. And so why are we declaring variables that we're never using anywhere? And that's the type of rule we want to be able to enforce, but it's not enforced by default in just the regular React template. And so what we do in this case is we add something to our system called ESLint. Now ESLint helps us to write consistent, high quality code. So we don't have stuff like this that we're declaring variables that we forgot we even declared that are never being used. And so the way that we set this up is we go to our extensions and we search for ESLint. And you'll see there, built by Microsoft, this integrates ESLint JavaScript into VS Code. And so I can install this and it will install. And then we just want to make sure if we click on this settings and go to extension settings, that down here under, let's see, probe, that we have an entry for TypeScript and TypeScript React, so it will lint those as well. If you don't have that in there by chance, just go in and type in TypeScript and then TypeScript React as two separate entries. And that'll get our linting in there. And then we've got that installed. Now we want to go back to our files and click on, we're going to go to our folder, right click, and we're going to add a new file. And the name of this file is going to be .eslint.rc.json. And this is where we're going to go put our linting rules in. And the one rule I'm currently going to add is extends, and that needs to be in quotes, so extends, colon, and then the React app. So we're going to go lint all the default React stuff. I'll save this, save all. And then notice when I brought that ESLint in, if I go back to this line, it's now giving me a warning saying and highlighting the fact that blah is assigned a value but never used. And if you look and see where that's coming from ESLint. So again, this will help us to write high quality code. We can get rid of that now and say, oh yeah, I'm actually not using that. Thank you for telling me. All right, so that'll help us, again, just enforce those rules. Okay, that'll disappear in a second. So ESLint is one that's commonly used to help us as we write our code to write good quality code. Let's see if I close that. And yeah, now it disappeared. All right, so the next one is this one that we talked about, Prettier. And Prettier helps us with a bunch of different things in the coding to make sure to help us with coding. And so things like if we forgot to add a semicolon, wouldn't it be great if the program just did that for us? And that's the type of thing that Prettier will do, and so it's very popular as well. And we can install that at the terminal. So first of all, we want to change directories into our folder that we're in. So in this case, it's going to be blah for me. And then we're going to run this command, npm install Prettier. And then I'm going to say save dev and run that. So that's going to go in and install Prettier. And then I want Prettier to take responsibility for the styling rules from ESLint, and so I need to run one other command. So I say npm install ESLint -config -prettier, and then and then a space, and then ESLint -plugin -prettier, and then same thing. So 2 hyphens, save dev. All right. And that's going to disable any rules in ESLint that actually conflict with Prettier. That's going to give us a bunch of problems. And so we want to run that. Now, we're going to let Prettier take care of the code formatting by going back into our ESLint RC file. And then we're going to make some other entries in here. And so currently we're just extending the React app. We're actually going to make this now multiple things. So I'll say extends, opening brackets, and then this will go inside of that. So that'll be one entry in there. And then a comma. And then the second one I'm going to put in is, I'm going to find it, plugin :prettier /recommended. All right, so we've got that in there, and we got to have our closing. We do. Okay, so then we're going to put in one other entry, and it's going to be prettier, lowercase prettier /prettier. And there's all sorts of configuring we can do in here. Again, this is just kind of a default little setup. Error, comma, and just make sure this is all typed in exactly as it is here. End of line auto. All right, so let's save that. Save all there. And then we're going to create another little file called prettier.rc file. So in the same folder, we're going to say new file, and this one is called prettier.rc with no extension in this case, just prettier.rc. And then in there, we're going to put in some kind of default formatting rules that we want in there. And so we can do stuff like print, so in quotes, print width is 80. And that'll say, so if we hover over these, they'll tell us what they're doing. Maybe not with an error. Print width. Why is it not doing it for me? Save. There's kind of a delayed reaction effect. Let's do some of the other ones. So single quote is another one that's a good one. And that will, if we type in a double quote, it'll change it to a single quote. Semicolon, this is the one I was talking about, where we go add a semicolon if we missed it, true. The tab width, so how far are we tabbing when we tab in our format, and we're saying 2 spaces maybe. Trailing comma. And I can't remember exactly what this one does. Again, we'll be able to hover over it in a second, I hope. End of line, :auto. All right, so we've got these entries in here, and these are just little configuration rules that we're setting up for ourselves. I close these and open that back up. Usually it does a little thing that tells me what it is those things are doing, but it's not doing it. So sometimes you'll see prettier.rc name, prettier.rc.json, and I think the system's fine with it either way. Man, why is that not doing that for me? But if you rename it without the JSON, then Prettier detects it automatically. The way we have it set up, it should work either way. Oh, I know. I bet you I know what we need to do. Maybe. We still need to bring this extension in. So if we go here and type in Prettier, then we will install this. And that's installed globally. And then let's just make sure, if we click on the settings here, go to extension settings, what we're looking for is this. That's right. So you should see the same thing. Where is my... Okay, how do I get out of here? Escape. Where is my... Oh, it's a general setting. So if we go to File and then Settings, excuse me. Let's see, File, Preferences, Settings is where we want to go. And then in here, we want to look for, search for format. All right, so the default formatter, we want to be as that prettier. So where is it? That one. Default formatter, and then we want to make sure that File on Save is checked. And so we're good there because it's checked. So we've got our prettier code formatter. Format on Save's good. We'll close out of this, back to our File Explorer. And then if we go somewhere like app.tsx, sometimes it will give you an error at this point. And if it does, we just type in npm install. It's not giving me an error, so that's good. And then we exit Visual Studio, reopen, and that error should go away. All right, so that's getting all the extensions installed. And so then our last thing would be just if we want to put this code up on GitHub, which we do. And so we'll take a look at that in the next video. Spencer, out. And sorry for going over 10 minutes.